Today I'm actually going to talk about monogamy and marriage. And this is going to be coming from a 27-year-old that's never been married, never been engaged, never had kids, any of that. So take everything with a grain of salt. It's kind of going to be just my thoughts when it comes to monogamy and marriage. I was watching a YouTube video about black love, and it was 3 married couples, and they were just kind of discussing the actual pressures that they had whenever it came to being married. Anyways, so what do I think about marriage itself and monogamy? So for me personally, as a 27-year-old, I don't actually see myself as of right now being married or being with just one person. But just right now with what I'm doing with my life and, the things that I'm trying to get accomplished, I don't think that I'm able to dedicate my full time to being in a relationship, because that's really what I think a relationship is that it's kind of a second full-time job, and if you can't dedicate all your time to that individual, then I don't think it's something that may actually work out. But yeah, I just don't think that it's something that I'm looking into. But some of the things that I have realized whenever I would even be with a girl, a lot of my friends or whoever brought the girl around, they'd be like, "Oh, y'all look cute together. Y'all should, think about marriage or whatever." And I'm like, we barely even started talking. Like we've been talking for like a month or two, or we've been together for like a month or two, and you want us to get married already? You want us to think about moving in together? You want us to do all this stuff? It's just society's pressure of marriage is pretty crazy. It's and I think everybody's felt that pressure of being monogamous or being married or just being with that one person, or just finding that one person that's perfect for you. The perfect girl, the perfect guy. Which of course, as we know, we're human. There is no such thing as a perfect person for you. I do think that when it comes to that type of stuff, that we still have kind of a narrow mindset. We need to kind of open our mind when it comes to marriage, really when it comes to a lot of things, but particularly marriage and monogamy. Also in the video, there was a gentleman, he was talking about how when he and his wife got married and everything, how the marriage is separate from the actual the wedding, and which I think is a good point. Like he was saying, the wedding is more for show, more for other people to show off, about your marriage, and the marriage is the actual part, the back end of it. When y'all living together, when y'all actually together, and when nobody else is around, type of thing. So I think that's a really good point. And I don't think a lot of people know about, they just see on YouTube all these wedding videos and how big and grand and how amazing that these weddings. I don't want to put all women in the category, of course, because not all women are like that. Some women want a small wedding, but a lot of women, they want these big, grand weddings where, everybody's coming and, everybody's like, look at me, the woman wants to be, look at me, I'm getting married to the person that I love, and, the person that loves me back, and which is, it's normal. It's normal to want to show off that love, to want people to see that, you have reached this grand ending when it comes to a relationship, but I don't think that is the ending per se. I think that's more of the beginning, this grand beginning, and then everything else goes kind of, stables out after the actual marriage. What I was seeing, what I was reading, it does look like the divorce rate is going down. And I kind of have some thoughts about that when it comes to the divorce rate going down. One of the things I think that's contributing to the divorce rate going down, sticking it out nowadays, where they no longer want to get divorced anymore. They no longer want to go through the process, because it's a hard process. It takes years sometimes to actually get divorced. Like you can be married for months, and then it takes years to actually get a divorce, it's mind-boggling. It's pretty crazy to, be able to sign a piece of paper and, do all that stuff and be married for a month or two, and then it'll take you 2 or 3 years to undo that 1 month. I also think that people are staying together more, especially if they have kids, I think, because they want their kids to see a two-parent household. So they don't want their kids to see, if a lot of kids, they see divorce go through with their parents. They sometimes they don't see it. Sometimes they don't know their dad. They don't even know their mom, whoever it may be that may have left. And and I think that psychologically now we kind of are aware of the impact that it has on a child when they only have a one-parent household. I don't think that's a reason to actually stay married. Some people may think it is, and that's perfectly fine. I don't think that, that's just my opinion when it comes to that I don't think you should, excuse me, I don't think you should stay married to someone that you don't like all because of you want your kids to be happy. I think that you should also be happy. I don't think that you should limit yourself when it comes to that type of stuff, to limit your happiness to just your kids being happy. Yeah, I just think society puts too much pressure on actually being monogamous and being in a relationship with someone, with one person all the time. And then I also think that society has shamed people who don't ever want to be married or aren't married or don't have kids like myself or anything like that. I think people tend to think that we are immature when it comes to that type of stuff. And I'm not sure why. People think I think there are multiple reasons why they may think that. I don't think any of them are correct when it comes to that. But it might be. I might just be immature. I might not be, what they call marriage material. I might not be one of those individuals, which is perfectly fine. It's not there's this traditional way of thinking, which is, to be married and have kids and a man provide for the woman. And, some people think that traditional way is, the woman doesn't have to work, only the man does the work and all that stuff. Some people think that, that's barbaric. And that men and women should be half and half when it comes to the household. They should pay half. Both of them should pay half the bills. Some men think that only they should pay the bill. There's a bunch of different ways that people think when it comes to being in a relationship and not being in a relationship, and trying to find someone to be in a relationship with. I do think that we look too much for another individual to be happy as well. I think that we rely too much on another person to be happy, which is something I've done too. I'm not saying other people do it only. I've done it where I've been in a relationship and I wasn't happy unless she was happy, or vice versa. She was not happy unless I was happy, and it just wasn't a healthy relationship. I think you should be able to be by yourself and be happy on your own and not have to worry about making somebody else happy. Because if you have that pressure of having to make somebody else happy, I think it's gonna mess up the relationship. I think it's gonna mess up your viewpoint of that individual. I think it's gonna, make them resent you when it comes to that type of stuff, especially if you don't make them happy in a moment. They'll resent you. They'll be like, why aren't you making me happy? Why aren't you, why aren't we happy? And it's like, well, it's not my job to make you happy. It's your job to be happy on your own. And then once we get together, then we'll be happy together, And of course, there'll be things that a person will do that will make you unhappy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't, just be emotionless and just be together. But you have to be more rational about it when it comes to putting that pressure. I think it's selfish for you to put that pressure on someone else to make you happy. Just something to think about. But for me personally, that's actually why I am currently single, because of I haven't had a conversation with a woman that has agreed with what I agree with, or if they did, with me, not wanting to be married, not wanting to have kids, not wanting to live together. Those are three things that, I do kind of let them know up front that, I want to be on my own, I want to live on my own, and I don't want kids, and some people say that's like why do you want to do that? That's, you don't want a relationship, obviously, but I just don't want those three things. That's all. Of course, there's other things I don't want, but those are three things I don't want. And the reason why I don't want that, by the way, is just because I think you should have your own space. I should have my own space. I think that living together is just not especially when you're not married. Even when you're married, but especially if you're not married, I think it's just not healthy to always be in a space with someone 24/7. To always live with someone. Um, at least for me, I couldn't see myself doing it. Of course, other people can do it, and I've seen plenty of people be successful in it. And I just don't think for me I can actually be happy in a relationship when it comes to trying to live with someone or have kids with someone or have marriage, and I also kind of get on this marriage thing when it comes to the pressure of society. So I'm kind of skipping around here, but so pressure from the women as well. A lot of women have this fairy tale mindset. A lot of them are breaking out of it too. Now, I'm not saying all women, of course, but a lot of them do have this fairy tale mindset of like Prince Charming and living together and live happily ever after and all this other fairy tale stuff. It's just not healthy. Have you ever had somebody tell you that like, oh, y'all look cute together and oh, y'all should be together forever or whatever it may be, and y'all only been dating for a few months, y'all don't even know too much about each other, And unfortunately nowadays with people, you don't really know them anymore. Like you don't know them, at least in the beginning, you don't really know them that well. You may think you know them. For me though, I tend to try to be upfront. Of course, I'm not always fully upfront with everything. I do kind of still do like the salesman pitch, where they'll tell you everything good about them in the beginning, like, oh, I like to go out, I like to do this, I'm adventurous, and, I want to travel, and I'll do all this stuff, and then you figure out that they just sit home, watch Netflix, and don't do anything else besides work, a 9-to-5 job, and that's it, and which is fine, don't get me wrong, but just be upfront about it is all that I'm saying. Like, be an honest person about it, that's all. Don't make it seem like you're this adventurous person when really you just like sitting at home all weekend and not doing anything. Like myself, like I do like going out and doing stuff, but right now with coronavirus being kind of prominent, I'm not going outside. But yeah, that's kind of just my thoughts when it comes to marriage, monogamy. There's a bunch of other thoughts that I have about it, but unfortunately with YouTube, I can only make my videos 15 minutes long at the moment. Talk to y'all probably next week. Maybe I'll make a continuation part 2 to this. Yeah, maybe I'll make a part 2. We'll see how it goes. But maybe I'll even make a different video about me quitting social media, which I finally did. Forever. I'm never going back to social media. I will talk to y'all later.